If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home.
Oh, AEW. Are you gonna lose a fan? You know, it's almost a year since they debuted. October of last year was when AEW Dynamite debuted it on TNT. And for the first 6, 7, maybe 8 months, I've been, on board. But for some reason, I am starting to wear thin on me. This company, the product. I'm not saying they don't have great matches; they do, great rivalries. But there's little things that I'm noticing. It'll pop up in this video, which is my AEW Dynamite rundown and thoughts, or what day was it? The 9th of September. First off, we start off with the Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express. Now, how many times does Penta, have to do the no fear hand sign? At least he didn't do it, like 50 times, in this one. There are times where he would do it. God, how many times? Like almost like they're trying to get that over. Like it's a trademark. They're trying to, trying to patent or something. It reminds me of how many times the Young Bucks, have to do the super kick. Now, in the end of this match, Jungle Boy avoids a Canadian Destroyer. It was a pretty slick move. He moved, what's that? Ray Phoenix in front of him, and then jumped off. That looked smooth. It didn't look over choreographed. It looked like it actually could happen, And he does that, and Penta does the Destroyer on Ray Phoenix, and that gives Jungle Boy the in, and he gets the pin. Now, Eddie Kingston, he's a blubbering mess. I mean, he's acting like a mediator, but it doesn't come off as natural. These guys don't come off natural. In what universe would these 4, 5 men, coexist? They don't look like they fit. At least and I watched an interview with Jericho did, and he said that him and his fellow Inner Circle guys, they are different, each and every one of them, but they fit, and they do. They are probably one of the best factions out there right now. Like I said, it doesn't come off natural; it comes off forced when it comes to Eddie Kingston. And then he's talking about how, like, what's going on? There was 5 of us in the battle royale, and and I'm thinking, wait, wasn't Kingston the last one in the ring? With Vance Archer, he got eliminated. Wasn't that what? Or the last one of the crew. You know what I mean? And then he tells them that, hey, there was 5 of us in the thing. It's because of this. He's looking at Ray and fucking Penta. And then it was so like cringy and so like over the top. And he was telling them, "Man, shake your hand, shake his hand." And I'm like going, "God, why don't you make them kiss?" And I don't like the guy. I think to me he's just one of those guys that I just could care less about seeing on screen. Now, let's go to this, and in the end, everybody dies as the number 1 contender to the AEW title. That man is Vance Archer, and he and Jake aren't there to drive cars, they're there to destroy them. And Archer is sick of Moxley's title reign, long title reign, and he is laser focused on becoming the next world champ. And let's continue. Matt Hardy's in the ring. He is clear 100%. with his family in the arena. Rhea Ripley and their new baby was there. But it's two Hardy Boy Juniors, and it's like a little bit of a nod that these two boys may well be the 20 more years, right? Because I think they're still like, well, they're still at least, they're still young, these boys, right? I don't even think they're ready to train yet, but these probably are trained knowing what Matt does. But his sons are at home, and he apologizes for putting them and us through what he did. Yeah, a lot of us were concerned, and a lot of us were pissed because of some of the spots that he did in that, in that broken rules match. You know, like you don't have to do that. Even his wife Reby was mad. I don't even think that was what do you call it? That was scripted. Her thing. I think she was honestly pissed. You know. And he did put himself through one hellacious match with Sammy Guevara, and Sammy Guevara's out with an injury. I don't know if that's per storyline, but it wouldn't surprise me. But Matt Hardy says he now plans to get healthy, get ranked, and go for his first AEW championship, whether it be TNT or AEW, the world title. I would love to see that, but it took him so long, Instead of being in these feuds, which are okay, fun to watch, but get serious and get some titles. There's not that many years left in his career. Go for the championship. Now, this one, Angelico or Angelico, if you want to be specifically pronounce the Mexican word name right, the lettering right. G is like a silent, right? And versus freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. It's like, okay. Now, Angelico is a joke. A white dude who comes from Mexico. Weren't these guys like in psychedelic fluorescent, fluorescent colored outfits before him and his partner? I forget what they were named then. Maybe they were still named the same. I don't know. But he has some flashy moves and submissions. But Cassidy is meeting him with his offensive moves and finishes the opponent eventually with the orange punch. And afterwards, Santana Ortiz attacked the orange one, but his best friends come to his aid and challenge Santana and Ortiz to a parking lot brawl. I think they were doing something like this before. Didn't it not happen? But now backstage, and Alex Bardavez is looking to talk to the Young Bucks, addressing the issues that we've been seeing in the previous weeks, right? Past weeks. Finally gets them to open the door. They have no words. They just super kick him in the gut. And why? Is this their way of cementing that they're turning heels? The very actions that are praised by the commentary team, it's like, this is one of the reasons why, and one of the things that makes AEW continue to wear thin on me. The inconsistency. It's like, why are they going to praise him and praise them for their attitude change and their aggression and all that? I understand if there's like a heel commentator that says that, but all of them are like what do you call it? They're all like for, the good guy, and they all agree on the same thing and everything like that. Even when Taz, who's a heel manager, he's like the regular Taz of commentary, and then he only acts like a heel when his guys are on, It's like Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, when they're on, he starts becoming a heel, and then he turns back to be all laughing and joking with the JR. What the fuck is that? And then they do that, and then you see Matt Jackson, after they super kick Alex Marvez, right? And then he looks at the camera all indignant. It's like, and then slams the door. Like, can we stop already with their dinner theater, over the top Shakespeare acting? Like, they're just over emoting every time they try to act like heels. They can't do it naturally. Like, I swear, some of these guys who are, the top in their field, you know what I mean? When it comes to wrestling, these guys are the top, right? One of the top tag teams, according to what they say. I won't say it. But it's like, they've never had TV, TV time or TV you know, just haven't had any real time in front of the in front of the TV. I mean, in front of the cameras, I should say. No camera time. So I guess they don't know how to. They're getting used to it. Okay, whatever. In an interview, Jericho said that on their first live show, 75% of the talent of the roster never were before cameras before. No shit. I noticed that. I'm sure a lot of other people noticed it too. That they don't know the positioning, they don't know where the camera is, they don't know how to, perform for a camera, for a thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like you can't go all willy nilly and do all of these fancy dancy moves that don't look good in front of a camera. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. That's what it's like. So it's just like no shit. I know that. I could see that they weren't ready. Some of them are getting better, but there's some that still, I believe, a lot to be desired. But no, for that, now let's go to the Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford segment. A who gives a shit segment, something that we've seen time and again, but something good came out of it. Now, they're going to get married soon, and just who is going to be the best man? The first guy that comes out, he's a rather rotund gentleman. He's a sub of Kip Sabian's Twitch. And it looks like he's eaten a lot of subs. Speaking of subs. But he's not it. Kip says, hey, I said you're the best. I didn't say you're the best man. Saunters off. It looks like he's sad. And then Brian Pillman Jr. comes out. And he thinks he's the best man. But Kip Sabian says, no, you're the best man. That's what I said. Not the best man. He goes off. Finally, we hear a legit, music to the person coming out instead of the previous two were coming out to no music or whatever. And it's Rusev. I mean, it's Miro. Finally makes his debut in All Elite Wrestling. But I was thinking to myself, so is he going to get involved in another wedding? They call it another marriage storyline marriage. Didn't he get through doing that with his own wife, who was playing Bobby Lashley's fiance? They get married, he gets involved, and cake's thrown, and all the usual shit that's going to happen. Now, he's in there and you hear chants of Miro Day. He's like, yeah, I like that. I like the sound of that. And then this is what he says. 10 years in the same house. Under the same glass ceiling with an imaginary brass ring. You know who he's talking about, right, guys? Remember when Vince McMahon was in the middle of the ring, in a segment, in-ring promo? Talks about if you really want it, you gotta get up, climb that ladder, and grab that brass ring. He said it with such passion. He was like, grab that brass ring. He's like that. But why is it that when guys like Rusev, Zack Ryder, they pull down that brass ring with a lot of conviction? They're like, yes, I got it. And then here's Vince McMahon. No, not for you. For John Cena. Or Roman Reigns. They can get it, not you. I didn't say specifically you got to get it. I'm talking about the ones that I like. You know what I mean? Rusev Day couldn't have been more over. Him and Aiden English. Everybody loved them as a team. Lana was in there. Remember, Lana is the best. Lana's number one. That thing got over. And then they just said, fuck that. Right? Continue. Well, you can take that brass ring, speaking of brass ring, and shove it up your ass. A lot of people have been saying that about that so-called brass ring. Invisible brass ring. He says, my name is Miro, and Elite recognizes Elite, and Elite recognizes the best. Now, he is the best man, but he's also the best in Twitch, and he's the best in the ring. And he will devour everyone in the ring. His name is Miro, and he is all elite. And if those of you who've seen his video, it was after the whole segment that he did, and he was happy. Miro is happy. He loves being there. He loves the people. And guarantee you that, you know, like a lot of them, once you get away from WWE, you're not walking on eggshells. You're not watching what you say. You're not saying, you know what I mean, in the sense that I'm talking about even when you say some good things and you're trying to praise something else, but WWE doesn't like that person or likes that thing, they'll punish you. So it's not really productive for you as a human being, for you as mentally wise, physically wise, to have to always walk around on eggshells, and you have to keep careful of what you say. You know, instead of being given the freedom like they do in AEW, you know. And he was happy, and I'm happy. Everybody's happy for the guy. Good on him, because we want these guys to work. You know, the people that deserve it, anyways. I'm not talking about Joey Ryan, who wants to worry about putting over a stupid move like the power of the penis. It's like, what the fuck is that? I still rack my brain every time I think about it. When it comes to that. I'm like going, I remember seeing that for the first time. I'm like, what does that have to do with pro wrestling? It's so stupid. You know what I mean? But guys like Rusev deserve to be successful and have a career. Not guys like Joey Ryan and these other ingrates. You know, these other Now, let's move on to Jericho and Hager versus Janela and Sonya Kiss? Sunny Kiss. Now, why did JR say P and V instead of piss and vinegar? I mean, damn, they cuss in AEW. And I've even heard the word shit. He even, and one thing about him too is that he always continues to refer to Sunny Kiss as a she. Now, Sunny Kiss is transgender, but still competes in the male division. If it's a she, wouldn't Sunny Kiss be competing in the females division, the women's division? You know, he keeps saying that. Maybe it's just because of the fact that sometimes, and all of us are also guilty of that. We sometimes say she or he when it comes to she or her when it comes to Sunny Kiss. It's hard not to, you know what I mean? Because Sunny Kiss is very feminine. So it's like sometimes we think, oh, that's a female. Oh no, I remember that's a dude. But Sunny Kiss competes in the male division, so you gotta say he. And even Excalibur was saying he. So now Hager, now he gets the pin on Sunny Kiss, and Sunny Kiss really did a good showing for himself in there, and really impressive. You get really impressed. I get impressed with him every week that goes by when I see him in action. And Jericho hits the fire extinguisher on him when he's on the top turnbuckle, and that sets him up for the Uranagi by Jack Hager, and the Inner Circle get the victory. And Jericho, with the mic in hand, addresses their losses, or the Inner Circle, that is, their losses at All Out. And he makes an announcement of the intentions to go after the tag team gold with he and Jake Hager, and that should be good. And I think they'll be a good team. I mean, I'd rather see the Les Sex Gods go at it. Him, Jericho, and Sammy Guevara, but Sammy Guevara is injured, probably for storyline, so that can't be the case right now. Now, in the backstage segment, we see MJF, and he fires his whole staff, and he even fires the smiling, what's that girl's name? But the one that's always smiling. When she wouldn't smile before, he told her to smile, and then he made some really rather derogatory statements towards her. You and your whatever, he said something about his fair face, and he said you and your yellow teeth or some shit like that. I'm like, oh, goddamn! What are you doing? You gotta cut that deep with your words. Now he does decide to keep Wardlow because he sees his potential. Well, that and the fact that he signs Wardlow's checks, not Tony Khan. And Wardlow has no choice but to continue to be his lackey. And you see at the end when MJF already walked off, and he's like this. He kind of has to clench his fist and go, all right, I have to keep doing this, and he just walks off. You feel for Wardlow. When they unleash the guy, when he's on his own, of course, he's going to destroy MJF first, and then be a babyface, and then he's going to take off. I can see that guy being a big star, big babyface in the company in the future. or he could be the monster heel. Both ways, I think that they got a good win. They got a winner in. Now, speaking of the world, let's talk about the world champ, John Moxley, and he's ready for Archer, and he knows the road as champ isn't easy, and he knows that's why he's #1 in wrestling. It's because of his work ethic. It's because of what he does, and how he approaches every match and every opponent. You know, and there's history between these guys. Archer and Moxley, because in Japan, Moxley became the IWGP United States champion, US champion, and he beat Archer for it. So, a little bit of a payback, retribution on Vance Archer's end to take Moxley out and get back some gold from him. Took gold off of him, so he's gonna take gold off of him. Now the FDR Championship Celebration, and they run down the tag teams. Talking crap about all of them. SCU is old. Private Party's just there. Billy Gunn is a tag team legend, but just because he's a member of a second-rate Hall of Fame doesn't mean that him and his son could just, waltzing in front of the line. I like that little jab at WWE when it comes to the Hall of Fame. A lot of people don't consider it a legit Hall of Fame, and it annoys me to no end when you got people out there that every time it's just because someone either dies or someone has been out of the limelight for a while and ends up back in the limelight, and people want him to be in the Hall of Fame. But these are the same people that talk shit about the Hall of Fame. So why are you saying put this guy into WWE Hall of Fame when you guys, a lot of you, say that you think that the Hall of Fame is bullshit for WWE? I can care less. I'm like in the middle. Like, I think it's an honor for them because that's the company that they work for. Who cares what we think? We're not getting inducted. They are. So if they don't mind it, they don't mind it. That's fine. It should be fine. You know what I mean? But he says that, and then they say Jurassic Express are like composed of a cosplay Tarzan and a dinosaur. And they're not going to represent the greatest tag team division in wrestling today. The Luchasaurus had enough. He enters the ring, and a scuffle almost ensues, and the champs find themselves on the outside. And then all the other teams are in the ring, and they're enjoying a bit of cake. Really? Where's the punch and the streamers and the presents? Like, sometimes it's just when you shake your head, sometimes I think they do. But anyway, let's move on with Lilla Rose. Now she's been at 16. She's been at #1. She's been the #1 contender for the women's title for 16 weeks. Why does WWE have their talent hold on to the contendership for so long? So like Shida, who had it for not just as long, they get looked over as others get their shot. It's like she's been the #1 contender for 16 weeks, right? But then, what's her name? Gets a shot. Thunder Rosa. Before that, I think it was Penelope Ford and some others. And I'm going, why do they book it like that? Where people have their a hold on the #1 contendership for long. I thought #1 contendership is like a few weeks, or at least until maybe at the most a month. They build up a feud, they build up a storyline, and the person's the #1 contender, and then the pay-per-view comes, and that's when they get their shot. What's 16 weeks? That's like 3 months and a week, right? Like someone's #1 contender for that long, I'd be pissed, and I'd be like my hand, I'd be like this in my feet, I'd be like, wringing my hands, going, when am I getting my shot? Why are they what's the hold up? 16 weeks to what? Her to like finally not even get shot, not to get the title, like sewing it for that long, and then she, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, because she holds it out for that long, and her fans are like going, the anticipation and the wait is excruciating, and then she finally gets this title, and everybody's satisfied. Her fans, she's satisfied. Lilla Rose, Vicky Guerrero's, you know what I mean? Now, she's going to be in a match with Tay Conte, who was known as Tainara Conte in NXT. and she takes her on, and Tay Conte takes her on, and she gets a beast bomb for her troubles. Thanks for coming, Tay. Maybe next time. She looked good in the ring. She's got a martial arts background, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all that. So it's like she can hold her own. I've always been intrigued by her, even in her days in NXT. I'm thinking she has something there. This is WWE just didn't utilize her right. Go figure, right? Par for the course. And then Vicious Bitches. Now, is that what I hear? I mean, is that the name of Vicky and Nyla's little group there? Little they call it partnership, And then she says that they are here to stay, and then we see Hikaru Shida come to the aid of Tay Conte. They're looking to, do some more damage on her, and this is the match we may be seeing in the near future. Well, 16-week. Wait, what's she gonna do? Wait for another 3 months? Book it, AEW. What are you waiting on? Oh, and the Bucks were fined $5,000 for that double super kick that he did on Alex Marvez. And now these commentator dopes, check this out. One of another's inconsistencies I'm standing that I can't stand. Want to be all up in arms. Oh, but last week they were all giddy and loving the attitude change. JR all upset. What's going on? He says. What are you talking about? Last week you were all good about the attitude change. Now you're like upset. I mean, they're trying to show they're upset because he super kicked a non roster talent. Someone that's not in the ring. You know what I mean? You should at least have some kind of like what's going on with these guys' attitude change. Why did? No, wow! I love their attitude change. Oh, you hear that one little stupid laugh that people do when they're like, it's like, really? Now, Kenny Omega's interviewed by JR, and Omega seemed to lose his way. He was supposed to be the single superstar and the inaugural AEW champ. Then, when he and Hangman got together, you then realize there may be something more to Kenny Omega. But what's next for Omega? World title, perhaps? But Omega says that he has plans and hopes and dreams, and Hangman needs to have other plans if he hopes to be happy. And if he hopes to have a rematch or reconcile with the Bucks, he's got to go with something else. Omega wants to return to singles competition and give everybody what they were hoping for on day one. That's what I thought too. I go, why is he in tag team? Why is he aligning himself with the with the elite right now? It should be him, the cleaner, right? The cleaner. That's what we know him for. That's why I like Omega when he's not the tweener, go between, heel, babyface. Should I? Shouldn't I? Now, speaking of the world title picture, October the 14th is going to be AEW Dynamite's anniversary. October the 14th is when they debuted last year. And, that's when AEW Dynamite was born, and that's when AEW finally was on the map in regards to being on TV. And Jon Moxley and Lance Archer are going to battle for that AEW title. Next week, we have the matches here. NWA Women's title match, Thunder Rosa versus Ivelisse, and I think that's going to be a banger. These two also were part of Lucha Underground, and here they are battling in AEW. Jericho and Hager versus Private Party. Jericho and Hager looking to start that trajectory and start building up those wins in the tag team titles. To let everybody see, that they're focused on the tag team division and they want to start ranking themselves. Jurassic Express versus FTR. If Jurassic Express beats them, then they get a title shot. Hangman versus Kazarian. And that's what's on tap for next week. I think there's a few matches I missed, but that's pretty much the bulk of it. Now let's go to the main event, and we'll just get right to the end result, and that is a discus lariat after two big boots. and he connects on the Nightmare himself, Natural Nightmare himself, Dustin Rhodes, and he pins him 1, 2, 3, and the gold stays with Dark Order. And Dustin afterwards, he gets a parting gift from Mr. Brody Lee, which is a low blow kick to the nuts. And the Dark Order stand tall, well, Brody does, not so much for Dustin Rhodes. That was the episode of AEW Dynamite for the 9th of September 2020. You know, AEW really needs to stop a lot of the nonsense that we do. They're getting a little better, but God, there's so many things that wear thin on me in AEW. I'm thinking to myself, am I going to continue to do these reviews, or just, you know, just watch it and not do anything, any of that? Just stick with WWE. I enjoy doing the WWE commentary videos more than AEW. But anyway, that's my video for those of you who stopped by and checked it out. I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.